Hey, it's Annemarie with Speak Confident English. Welcome to this week's Confident English lesson. This is exactly where you want to be every week to get the confidence you want for your life and work in English. This week we're talking about common phrasal verbs in English that use the verb look, and we're going to talk about 10 of them. Before we do that, I want to share with you how to successfully learn and remember phrasal verbs. We have so many phrasal verbs in English that it's impossible to learn all of them in a short period of time. A better approach is to focus on a small group of phrasal verbs, be sure that you know exactly what they mean, and give yourself the opportunity to see them, hear them, and use them regularly in a short period of time. In other words, make sure there is repetition. When you see, hear, and use a word regularly, it is going to stay in your memory, and it will be easy for you to use it in conversations. You won't have to worry that you might get stuck or forget that word in the future. Let's get into 10 phrasal verbs using the verb look. Phrasal verb number 1 is to look over. Let me give you an example sentence and see if you can identify the meaning. Before I sign this proposal, I need to look over it carefully. What do you think? If you're not sure, let's try one more example. Will you look over this document and make sure that everything's correct? All right, with those two examples, do you have any ideas of what look over might mean? It means to review or inspect something carefully. What other things in life or at work might you review or inspect carefully? That is a good question to answer with an example sentence using the phrasal verb look over. Phrasal verb number 2 is to look after. Again, let's start with an example sentence. My neighbors are going on vacation and they asked me to look after their dogs. Let's try another example, but this time with a question. When you were younger, did you ever look after your siblings? For example, if you have brothers and sisters who are younger than you, when you were a teenager, did you ever look after them? To look after means to care for or be responsible for someone or something. So in the example with my neighbors who went on vacation, I was responsible for caring for their dogs. Phrasal verb number 3, to look around. With this one, I've got a question for you. When you're on vacation, do you like spending an afternoon just looking around, or do you like to have a clear plan with somewhere to go? We use the phrasal verb to look around when we're visiting a place or a building and we're walking around to see what is there. We don't really have a specific goal in mind. We just want to see what's happening and what's available. Phrasal verb number 4, to look someone or something up. For example, I need to look up her phone number. Or, I haven't talked to Susan for so long. I should look her up on Facebook. What do you think that means, to look up someone on Facebook or to look up someone's phone number? It means to search for someone, to get information about them, or to get details on specific information that you want. Number 5 on our list is to look back. It's very common as we get older to look back on our lives. What do you think that means? It's common when we're older to look back on our lives. What this means is to think about or reflect on the past. For example, as you age, you might think about your childhood or your adolescence. You might reflect on that time period and what you remember, what you enjoyed, or even what you wish was different. Phrasal verb number 6 is to look into. Let's imagine that there's a problem at work, and you don't have a solution yet, but you need to provide someone with an answer. You might say something like, I don't have a solution right now, but I'll look into it. If you say you'll look into it, what are you going to do? You're going to investigate the situation. You're going to work on trying to find that solution. Phrasal verb number 7, to look up to. We use this when we're talking about people, to look up to someone. For example, I've always looked up to my sister. She stays optimistic and positive no matter what happens and always finds a way forward. What does that mean if I look up to my sister? This phrasal verb is a great one to know because it means that you admire or respect someone. Number 8 on our list is to look for. For example, will you help me look for my keys? I can't find them anywhere. What am I asking you to do if I ask you to help me look for my keys? I'm asking you to help me search and find my keys because they're lost somewhere. We often use this phrasal verb with words like information or solutions. For example, you might look for a solution to a problem at work. Phrasal verb number 9 on our list today is look out, and this one is almost always used with an exclamation point. For example, there's a car coming, look out. We use this phrasal verb as a warning. It's a way to tell someone to be careful. And finally, phrasal verb number 10 with the verb look is to look through. This one is very similar to another phrasal verb on our list. Let's see if you can identify it with the example. Would you look through this document to make sure there are no mistakes? What do you think? What does it mean to look through something? We often use this with the adverb carefully, to look through something carefully. It means to review something. Do you remember another phrasal verb on this list with the same meaning? To look over. Both of these phrasal verbs mean to carefully review something. With that, you have 10 new phrasal verbs using the verb look for your English vocabulary. I don't want you to try to learn all of these phrasal verbs today. If you do that, you're more likely to forget these words in the future and feel frustrated when you can't remember them in a conversation. Instead, choose 2 phrasal verbs from this list. Think about how to use them in your real life and share some examples with me. I would love to see those sentences in the comments below this video. If you found this lesson useful to you, be sure to let me know, and you can do that in 3 simple ways. Number 1, be sure to give this lesson a thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe to this channel so you never miss one of my Confident English lessons. Number 2, share it with friends or colleagues on Facebook. And finally, if you know someone who would love to grow their English vocabulary with phrasal verbs, email them this lesson directly. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and I'll see you next time for your Confident English lesson.